In this video, I'll be sharing with you a simple tutorial on how to cut this stylish blazer waistcoat. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. So for this pattern, I'll be cutting it in a miniature size, and here's my pattern. The first thing you need to mark is your button allowance. So for the button allowance, I'm using 1 inch. Mark your shoulder to bust, your shoulder to under bust, your shoulder to waist, and add additional 8 inches to your blouse length. So the actual length is to add 7 inches to your blouse length, but because we are going to use a bust dart, a basic bust dart to your pattern, that's why I added additional 1 inch to it. Now after you're done marking this, you want to start inserting your measurements. So from the button allowance, I'll go ahead to measure my shoulder divided by 2. So this is an illustration, I'm not using the actual measurement. From that point, come down by 1 inch and mark a basic neckline of 3 inches by 3 inches, right? So just like I said, I'm just using a little measurement for this, but I'll be saying the actual measurement. Now connect to your shoulder. Next is to find your chest line, which is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and draw out a straight line. Now, whatever you have on the shoulder, mark it back on the chest line, place your ruler and connect. Now, after you're done connecting, I'll go ahead to divide my armhole into 2 equal parts and mark. I'll come out by ½ inch at that point. And after marking, at the chest line, mark your bust circumference divided by 4. Then after marking that, I'll go ahead to connect this all the way up and then connect it to the bust circumference divided by 4. The next step is to insert your measurement. We are drafting this as a dartless pattern. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and I'll go ahead to add my sewing allowance. After marking the sewing allowance, I'll come down towards the waist. I'll mark the waist circumference divided by 4 and then add my sewing allowance. I'll move over to the blouse length and I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4 and I'll add my sewing allowance. After marking that, I'll place my ruler, connect from that point all the way to the waist, and then I'll connect it back to the blouse length. Now this is what I have after I'm done connecting, and the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead, add my basic bust dart, and to do that you're going to mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2, then come down by 1 inch from your bust, and you're going to go ahead to connect this all the way to the bust, that point you marked, right, which you're going to stitch up just like we have on the dress. So after this, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches from the blouse length. Remember, for this blouse length at the front, we added 8 inches, which is an extra 1 inch because of the bust that we are marking. Why for the back? The back, you're just going to add 7 inches after your waistline. Now, measure the depth of the neckline you'll be using for your blazer pattern and blend it out. After you're done blending it out this way, the next step you're going to take is to go ahead to come down by 2 inches after your waistline. Then you're going to come in by ½ inch after the line. Go ahead to connect from this point to this other part and blend it out this way, right? So after you're done marking that, you extend this down and blend it out. Now I'll be marking the button allowance I have, and this is what it looks like, and I'll go ahead to connect it. So we are done drafting the front pattern, and you mark out the darts. Remember, you'll be sewing it up. So to cut out the back pattern, we'll be using the front pattern to make it easy to cut out. So I'll just first of all go ahead to trace out what I have, and after I'm done cutting this out, we're going to use the same pattern to cut out that of the back pattern. So this is what I have, and I'll place another pattern paper now. So what I'll do is I'll fold in the button allowance and place. Now I'm going to use another neckline for the back, but I'll trace out the shoulder and the armhole. Now blend out this dart because there's no dart at the back. Now when you blend it out, try to balance it in a way that it will not be gaping at the center, and then connect this to the lower part of this pattern. Now for the neckline of this dress, I'm going to go ahead to use a basic neckline of 3 inches by 1, and I'll go ahead to connect. Now this is the back pattern, and what I'm just going to do is to go ahead to cut this out. And after cutting out the back pattern, this is what I have. Join us in our next video. Thanks.